What's up, guys? It's been a minute. I've been very busy. We had a ton of mobile blast, not a ton, but a good amount of mobile blasting jobs. We've been slammed, absolutely slammed at the coating shop, so we're just kind of getting out of the tail end of that. We're also getting everything ready for the chopper barn party. Got a video coming out soon, just kind of going over all of that. If you're around, July 26th should be a really good time. Got the barge built for the water and all of that stuff. And this thing is down to wiring, but I've been waiting on parts. Parts showed up yesterday. I was thinking about trying to get this going, but ended up spending some time on this chopper frame, which is turning into a huge nightmare. I'll go over that in another video. But I did finally cut off some stuff and start on that. Not the best. Not super happy at all with the way the casting lays out on that one. I don't know what brand it is on the rigid frame, but it is nowhere near lining up. So now I'm trying to fix it with what is available. So again, separate video there, but we're gonna keep jamming on this today because I did get the battery and I have the clutch cable and the primary gasket down there. So I can button up the clutch, I can get all the rest of that done. The brakes are blad. This oil lines are run. This just needs wiring. We got the switch mounted roughly down here, but now we got both the hot lead from the battery down to the solenoid and the ground all hooked up. So realistically, this needs, I gotta staple this back on too, but other than the wiring's the last hurdle. So I'm hoping to start jamming on this today. I wanted to be up here at 5 this morning because I thought I had a clear day. Woke up, checked the weather, and my phone glitched out. I got an iPhone and iPhone or whatever, but white screen of death. It just, the whole screen lit up and turned white and I couldn't see anything, do anything. Normally I wouldn't care. I appreciate a couple days without a phone, but I also have another mobile blast job and my contact for that is on this phone. Just a fiasco. Technology problems are the worst. I don't understand them. And then after I went to the place and they said that I couldn't upgrade right away because I just switched carriers and I needed to wait a month, I said screw it and tried taking the screen apart myself, and then I cracked the screen. So it was already broken. I just made it more broken. Then ran down the road to the local guy and he took care of it in about an hour and a half. So phone's working again. It's now 5 p.m. I'm a full 12 hours after the fact of when I wanted to start on this. I was hoping to designate a full day. Tomorrow I'll be running around blasting and then back here trying to finish this up. So I think I'm gonna start laying out the wires with this. I'm gonna turn the camera on. I don't know how much of it's gonna make the cut. It's wiring, it's boring, it's tedious. It's not the most fun thing in the world to watch. I don't think there's any major hiccups here. I mean, your main power cables, you know, you got your hot side, you got your ground. Hot side goes to the relay, and then you got, I'll show you the little trigger wire before I start diving into this, but we'll come back when the harness is all done. You got your trigger here, and so you got hot side, top post here. Hot side goes up to the hot side of the battery, and then your actual starter is on the other big post from the solenoid. So both of these are live when you hit your starter button or your momentary switch on the key, which is what we're using here. This sends a signal, magnetizes it, or some sort of electrical magic, kicks them over, bridges the straight hot from the battery to the starter, constant spin mode. You let off of that, it releases, kicks back. And we already went over how the clutch and the starter ring gear work on there. Other than that, I think we're just running 2 headlights always on, and then we got to chase down the tail lights, and then I'm putting 2 little LEDs here, so I need a 12-volt run. So we'll have one small wire run up here and over, and then these 3 are already on the outside sitting here. So we'll heat shrink these once I figure out which lead is which. Label those. I'll probably do 2 spade connectors, but flip-flop male and female. I don't like doing, I mean, bullets work too. I just don't have enough of them. But I I like keeping them separated where the taillight itself will still disconnect. In the past, I know it's cleaner, I know it's nicer to run them under the fender, but I have had 2 bikes that I wired up where over time, the wires, first time, 100% my fault, I used way too thin a gauge wire, and the wires melted, and it turned into a whole fiasco because it was all run through a big king-queen seat. Now, just for side of the road fixes, I like having everything on the outside and slightly accessible. I don't mind jamming it in under here, like underneath the seat, but at least where it's not too bad to get to or address if a wire terminal cracks or the wire shorts or something like that. Make it a little bit better. But other than that, we are running points. So we have a regular coil. It's 1 lead from the point side to the coil, 1 12-volt lead to the coil on a keyed switch. And then we got the headlights to figure out, which should just be a positive. We're not using any of the switches as far as he's coming by later today. So I'll verify that with him before I get too far into this. But I'll get the logistics and the hard bits done, and then we'll go from there. So that's what I'm gonna be working on today. Sorry for not taking you along, but it's not fun to watch. And I guess I'll show you guys this too. Pie cut section frame. Do not recommend doing it this way, ever. But it is tube, not a solid bar. So I was very hesitant because the angles of the rear section of the hardtail are fixed, the axle plates are fixed, the motor mount, or the lower frame rails have 4 bolts all the way across, so that's all fixed. I'm fighting every bit being fixed, and these did not want to line up. This and this are pulled in too far, so I did cut that bridge plate out. But being one pretty thick 120 wall, I'm guessing, looking at that, this will burn in just fine, and it will be a nice full deep weld with that gap. I measured everything out. I kept everything under an 1/8 inch. Whether I MIG or TIG that, there's plenty of meat there, but it will fully weld those tubes and turn into one piece. It's just a lot more work than I wanted to do. I don't have a bender up here. The other option was re-welding on the old ones, but the problem with the old ones is they want to kick up, so I would have had a weird kink here. Sectioning it this way, I can get it to the exact radius that I wanted it. Yell at me in the comments if you want, that's fine, but I'm pretty confident in this, and I know that this is going to burn in really well. And when we do it that way, I actually did tack that one side up. I still got a ton of work to do on the other side, but it allowed me to have the flexibility to bend and tweak and shift all of these coming into here. And this lines up perfect. So we'll make sure the other side looks proper when everything's bolted in and tightened down, and go from there. Different approach. I wanted to fire up the torches and start bending, but I really just needed the last 2 inches of that rear leg section to be bent. And I don't think I have any way of actually bending that when it's all welded together and structural like that. It's also not just a butt weld. I'm going full high heat, deep penetration all the way around those. Structurally, I'm less concerned, but it's the internet, so rip me apart in the comments. That's fine. We're gonna go with that. So a quick little update, and then we'll come back again once the wiring stuff is hopefully done, whether that's today or tomorrow, because it's way late. Let's play with some wires. It's been a whopping 4 minutes. I took the brake linkage off, got all the bolts set for the primary. I did not do the clutch yet. I did not do the wiring yet. I was gonna. And I brought my wire shielding, I brought my heat shrink, I brought all the terminals, all the connectors. I didn't bring wire. I literally have them sitting on a corner table in the garage. I meant to grab them. I thought they were in my truck. Apparently I never grabbed them out of my house garage. So that's gonna be on pause for a little bit. And we might come back and mess around with this tonight instead. So one way or another, we're getting a video. It might just kind of be bouncing back and forth, but we'll do a little bit of time lapse on the cutting of this thing. Once this is all done and burnt in, I'm confident with it. I know typically if you're trying to do this, you want to cut on the bottom. If I'm bending the top down, you want to cut the bottom so it actually pinches up those. On something like this, this is really thick tubing, so I need a pretty decent sized gap to be able to make sure that it's burnt in all the way. I don't want to do like, otherwise you got to chamfer and cut the ends of them. So that's what we're going to be doing instead. I don't know really where the rest of this video is going to go, just because I am ill prepared. I'm 99% certain that I brought that wiring up here, but we've also been kind of doing deep cleaning on workbenches and things. And I might have gotten them lost in the mix. And I've been up since 4 trying to figure out the stupid phone thing, and my head's kind of spent. So realistically, I did hook the ground up. This will go there. I got the terminals for the hot side. I just need actual wire. I have everything else I need besides the wire part. I've been slammed with mobile blasting stuff, 2 of them this week, so that's been keeping me super busy. We're also trying to get the barn prepped for chopper barn, which is hard because I have this ironhead on the lift still, and I have this XLCH chopper 81 with a V-twin hardtail. So I've been bouncing back and forth between those after blasting jobs. So I finished up all the blasting today, and then I had somebody else come in and drop off some side rails for a truck. So I had to bring those back over here too. We did those like 5, 6 years ago, I don't know. They were just starting to bubble and flake, so we wanted to just redo them, which is great. The only problem is we're trying to clean the barn for the chopper barn bash. And every time I blast, regardless, the fans work great and catch most of it, but I always end up with more sand and dust everywhere, and I'm trying to get rid of that big mess. But work comes first, so cleaning will have to wait. It's killing Dottie, she's going crazy, because I have to clean up all of this, basically, because we're gonna be using this space. So all of the lifts have to go. Basically, I have to rip the entire shop apart from work things to host an event, and then go from there. But here is the chopper. I started the wiring on this. I got all of it run with the anti-gravity battery in here, so this little guy. And as it sits right now, if we click that one position, is on with lights. The only issue is I'm running his old bars with internal wiring, and I'm not getting power up here. So this lower one is a sealed beam. But if we come over here to the master cylinder switch for run, that's what they had the wires run for the lights before. If I click that on, our high beam is working. He wants to keep a high-low setup. This is a single filament, so that's gonna be your high beam. I don't know if this bulb is dead. I didn't actually check the bulb itself, but I'm guessing it's just a dead bulb down here. It's a sealed beam though, so I gotta look. I think I might have 1 or 2 of those at the house, but we have headlight. If I go to high beam, we have tail lights. And I'm short on connectors. I need a red connector, you know, like the blue and the red ones. Blues are bigger. I need a red one, female, to bridge these together. But if I set those there, let's see if this will show up. If I put this to here, like so, and hold it in place. Come on. Jittery finger McGee over here. That's what happens after a long day of blasting. Come on. So we got working headlights, just no low beam circuit. And there we go. We got brake light. So everything's working. I'm just missing a couple connectors that I actually ran out of, so thought I had plenty of them. I also have the LED light for the license plate, and points wire is run, but we got new points and condenser going in here, so I just got to put a new terminal on here when we hook up the points. Generator is hooked up. Brakes are bled. I still have to pull the clutch cover off and put in the, or primary cover off and put the new clutch cable in, which, excuse me, is down in that box along with the gaskets. Here's the chain for the fork stops. The seat's got to come off one more time so I can restaple all this in. Tank is on but not fully mounted because I don't have 1/4 inch NPT plugs for the rear of this. So plug the tank. Oil lines are run. I think that's pretty much it. Like, this bike is pretty much there. It's down to those final seat bolt and final little tiny bits. And there's no ignition. Well, the coil's wired, but the points are not. Cranks over really well. Notice the headlights? Tail light should too. I actually haven't looked at that, but when I crank this, the light should go off. Yeah, so that'll divert all the power to the starter. Running them on the accessory circuit. Some people actually run them so the brake light stays on all the time. It's like a safety feature, but we're not doing that. We're doing chopper wiring, so it's key on, your lights are on, brake light, tail light, headlights, all of those will be working. The brake light's just switched, and it's cranking over. Motor sounds super healthy. I don't know how good that S&S carb is gonna be. Odds are we're probably gonna have to give that a quick cleanup. That's where we're gonna leave this for now, and then I'll keep updating as we go, but it might end up turning into a couple days, but one video.